Thanks for tuning in to the Palm Beach Podcast, a weekly show highlighting people making a positive impact in our community. With your hosts, sports chiropractor and athletic trainer, Dr. James Spencer, photographer and art director, Mike Jones. Our show is brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Hopportunities in Delray Beach, and the Lotus Travel Company for retreats and tours in Palm Beach County. Hello, and welcome to the Palm Beach Podcast. My name is Mike Jones. I'm hanging out at Media Zone with a couple cool people. Dr. James Spencer, how are you doing today?
Always a pleasure to see you. Unfortunately, not sunny blue skies today.
But we'll tell the listeners that they are sunny.
Yes, so a little rain here in South Florida, but I'd like to welcome a special guest to the show, Giovanni Roselli. Welcome, bro.
Thank you for having me, and I'm here to brighten up the day.
That'll boy.
Yeah,
I like that.
But what do you think about Media Zone?
I walked in here, and like I told you guys, my wheels are already spinning with what I want to do here, what I can do here. I think you guys have a great facility here. I'm very impressed, and I can't wait to come back, to be honest with you.
Heck yeah. Well, plenty of options for you to create content or auditions here. And why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your background and how you ended up in South Florida?
Yeah, so let me start now, and then I'll work my way back. So my wife works with dyslexic children, and she's one of the best in the world at it, if I can toot her own horn. And she got a really nice job offer to come down here, and I didn't want her to pass it up. So I said, let's move. We were in New York at the time, and we had to move away from our families, which was, tough. And it's tough to be away from them, especially now.
Sure.
We can't see them. But we made the move down here in South Florida, and it was a good move for us and our family. And since then, we have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, and I'm still continuing to train. And it actually opened up a lot of creativity on my end, because I was with Equinox at the time. Equinox, obviously a big heavy hitter, big box gym. And I had a really nice position there. I was a tier 4 coach, now tier X. I was a master trainer. I was one of their educational go-to guys. And I left them. And there's no Equinoxes anywhere near where we moved.
Correct.
So it forced me to make my own moves. It forced me to come out of my shell a little bit. It forced me to grow. It forced me to evolve. So in a way, I'm really thankful of that, because it made me do things and made me try things that I wouldn't have tried if I was just, very comfortable with Equinox. And I have a lot to owe to
kudos to you for taking one for the team, by the way,
Yeah. Hey, happy wife, happy life.
Sure.
Right?
Truthfully, we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking if you didn't.
No, we wouldn't.
Right?
Wouldn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate, you moving down here and our friendship and everything that's kind of, grown from that. That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm appreciative that like-minded individuals come together.
Yeah.
Like we kind of found each other. And I don't know if I even told you this, but when I was looking to bring Charlie Weingroff down here to do a presentation and seminar, we all know Charlie Weingroff. He's someone that I look up to, I've always looked up to. I asked him, who do you know in the area, that could, either help me, or that I can go to, or that I can, speak to, or just like-minded.
Sure.
Goes, James Spencer.
Awesome.
James Spencer.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah. So that's how I originally came across you. And I don't know if you remember, but I went on your website and I filled out like the application, just like I was a, potential client. And I just, hi, I'm just so-and-so, I heard really nice things about you. I'd love to just meet you and, pick your brain. And that's how we started.
And I appreciate that, and I think it'll be relatable to a lot of the listeners out there, is getting out of your comfort zone and just doing it versus kind of sitting back and being a little hesitant, because too many people come to us with ideas and they have this idea, but they never execute on it, or they never just reach out. And I think more people, if they would, it would open a lot of doors. And I tip my cap to you.
Thank you. And I think, like I said, the universe kind of moves you in directions where you have forks in the road, right? And that's when you say, you know what, I haven't gone down this road, and I've been approached to go down this road several times, and now is the time. And I never wanted to, and I never want to look back on my life and say, I took the easy ways, and I took the comfortable ways, and I didn't take risks. And with risks comes failure.
Sure.
With risks comes disappointments, and I think that makes you stronger in the end overall. And I love the I don't know if you guys know the quote, like the man in the arena, if you've ever heard that. There's no way I'll be able to say it because it's a full paragraph, but it's basically saying, like, listen, don't even think about criticizing me, and don't even talk about what I do unless you have tried as hard as I've tried, and you've tried as many things as I've tried. You've been in the arena, right? You put yourself in the arena, and you've tried to do, things that would be critical of others. Like, there's people that criticize you, there's people criticize me, people criticize this podcast, they're everywhere. But you know what? You probably are just playing it safe, and that's why you can sit in your little hole, and you can point fingers and criticize people because
keyboard warriors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you haven't taken the risks.
True.
That we have, and that I have.
And I think that even starting a podcast, a lot of people told us don't do it. And here we are a year later, and I can tell us, everybody out there, we're beyond grateful. Our business, personally and professionally, has grown exponentially. So anybody who's hesitant or thinking, definitely do so.
And the cream rises to the top too, right? And I still believe that, and I still feel like it always does. And that's why I'm sure there's plenty of people who started podcasts that haven't done well, right? And that's probably for a myriad of reasons. But when you have a good head on your shoulders, when you have a good, professional background, when you have a good vision, then, good things happen. But you gotta put up with the highs and lows, right? You gotta put up with disappointments. You gotta put up with the failures, and you gotta keep pushing through it. One of my favorite words ever in the history of words is perseverance. And I feel like just having perseverance makes you successful in no matter what you do, because you have the perseverance to, if you're good, you have the perseverance to be great. If you fail, you have the perseverance to get yourself back up off the floor, right? So just having perseverance, I feel like, is one of the finest qualities any human being can ever have.
One other thing that's really nice on top of the perseverance is having a wife that can make banana muffins. So thank you very much for the treat, because we did smash a banana muffin before this.
She would have made you one. So I'm sorry that you guys had to split one.
That's okay.
But next time I come up, we'll have 2 muffins waiting for
Tell
you.
her thank you as always.
It was
always
of course.
delicious.
Yeah. She'll be happy to hear that. Yeah.
And I think too, like, let's touch base on how you're giving back to the kids, during COVID and everything, just following your content. That's something that I really appreciate about you and your family. You're always very selfless, and you look back of how can I give back to the community. So let's touch base on that a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life and career where I can pay it forward, and I feel confident enough to pay it forward. And, when I was coming up through the ranks of fitness, and even, when I was wrestling, you always need those mentors. You always need those people that can tell you, man, probably shouldn't do that, or there's a better way to do that, or you're going to be sorry.
Sure.
And I enjoy being that person. And I even tell the students, so I do some work for Florida Atlantic University, FAU, and I love, presenting there. And, I may tell you something and you still may do it, and you'll learn and you'll make that mistake, right? But I just wanted to at least give you the heads up, right? And I just want to at least tell you about what you have to expect. And my relationship with Florida Atlantic University was something that I created on my own as well. They were looking for someone who knew about Viper. And they bought a bunch of Vipers for their exercise science program, and they didn't know what to do with them.
Perfect.
Quite honestly. Right. And so I'm saying, perfect. And I'm the type of person that if you just open the door an inch, I'm going to just knock it down. Mm-hmm. And when I see what's potentially behind that door, then I'm gonna go full force through it. And that's how it started, and that's how I got the ball rolling. And then I was like, wait, I just don't have to teach Viper for you guys, right? I could do other things too. Like, sure. I'm not just a Viper person, even though I love the tool. And then that's what got me into now I'm, presenting to the intro to exercise science class and just basically telling them, the rules of the road. And, really very little to do with exercise and, what they can expect. And, especially now is a time where, kids and young adults could use some motivation mm-hmm. and can use some optimism. Mm-hmm. I think we all could use some motivation.
I was just going to say that.
Some optimism, even as adults as well.
I think that's really kind of what we've been discussing as well recently is getting some youth in here and letting them explore and learn just as Mike did. Like Mike started out when he was like 13, started filming people.
So like 3 years ago?
Yeah, give or take. I grew this in 3 days.
Little 5 o'clock shadow.
Hey, and also quick shout out to, we have the Palm Beach podcast as a couple OWL alums.
Oh yeah.
A couple FAU alums. So Laura Canteri and Kira O'Brien.
Yeah.
Shout out to both of you.
Yeah. And I've worked with both of them.
Yeah. So, but I like, being a mentor or advising the youth and just kind of helping pave some positivity and optimism. And again, I tip my cap to you. You've done that for a long time. And to give back, it feels good.
It does. And, to be fully transparent, a lot of this stuff when you give back, and I'm actually doing a lot of work for my college, Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. I have like 3 presentations and, seminars coming up for them because I was like, wait, I'm doing Florida Atlantic University. There's thousands of other universities out there. Why couldn't I do stuff for them? And why wouldn't I do stuff for my alma mater? So, I'm doing stuff for them. And a lot of this stuff, I'm not getting paid for. I'm
sure.
not, this is just me saying, you know what? It's good karma, number one. Number two, if I have one kid that says, man, what you said today really hit home, or man, I'm going to go do this now because of what you said, then it was worth it. Because I understand with the mentors that I've had throughout my whole life, that has the light bulb going off on me. And if I can make that light bulb go off on other people, I know how that long-standing effect is. I could still picture in my mind the mentors that I've had that have helped me 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And that's the most important stuff that we hold on to. The old adage of, name the Super Bowl loser 3 years ago, but name your favorite teacher in high school.
It's true.
You can name your favorite teacher in high school,
true.
But does all those sports facts and figures, matter as much? So that's how I try to look at, paying it forward and giving back too. And you never know. I've helped some of these kids get jobs. I helped introduce some of these kids to other people who helped them get jobs. It just feels good.
And for the listeners out there, I want you to hear that again. There's things that he has the clout and the credibility to get paid, but he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart for free. And there's been a lot of listeners that have come on this show, and it's kind of a repeated theme. Like, you have to give back. Don't think that you always have to charge for this stuff. It feels good, even self-fulfilling, to have that kind of mentorship.
Yeah. And I'm not condoning like, hey, let's start doing everything.
No, but I want to make that a point. Like, there's things that you do have to do for free and give back, because that's important.
Otherwise, you're not really giving back.
No.
You're taking.
Stealing from others, right?
Yeah.
And you're creating your new network here in a new place, right? And it's showing face is something that we talk about all the time here at the podcast and at Media Zone. It's like, what do you have to lose? Like, even if it sucks, you learn something new, guaranteed, And just show face.
And even moving down here, I took it as a challenge, right? Because New York, Connecticut, I'm well known throughout Equinox. I have my niche in my community. I'm moving down here. No one knows me.
Yep.
I got to start all over again. And I took it as a challenge. I was like, all right, let's see what we can do here. Let's see who I can meet. I just started randomly walking into gyms. Hey, I just want to introduce myself. They didn't know that I was a trainer of 10 plus years, and I knew about FMS, and I know Charlie Weingroff and all these people. They thought I was just some, random trainer walking into the gym.
Or a former pro athlete.
Or former professional wrestler. So I took it and said, what can I do? What can I do with this new world that I have, that I moved into? So, I think that's the attitude too that has helped me succeed is, man, I could have been bummed out. I could be, man, I'm in new state. I'm all the way down in the country. No one knows me here. What the heck am I going to do? And, but you take it and you make the best of it.
What's some advice you have for some of the youth as far as either training or even acting?
Yeah. So we've mentioned this word several times already, but I really think it's important to find a mentor.
I thought you were going to say perseverance again.
That too. But I think it's really important to find not maybe a mentor, but mentors. You really need someone to help you, especially starting out. I'm seeing way too many trainers, and sometimes there's no other option, but okay, you take your trainer certification, you pass it, and then all of a sudden, like, you're a trainer and you're putting people's bodies in your hands, and you've never really trained anybody before, and you've answered some questions. You've answered enough questions correctly to now put bodies in your hands. Eric Cressy, who, obviously very well, and who I respect a lot, and I watch everything and listen to everything that he does. He always says, the barrier of entry is so low. He used his wife as an example, right? As his wife had to go through this, and then she had to, do 6 months of residence, and then do this and this. He said, training is not like that at all.
Yeah.
Not like that. So you take enough questions correctly, and you take a picture with your certification, and then, okay, you have this 40-year-old body that's put in front of you, and you're telling them, hey, let's do some jump squats and some battling ropes.
Good luck.
Yeah. So you need somebody to really take you there, which is why I offer, to everyone I meet at FAU, hey, here's my number, here's my email, like, reach out, like, I'll help you, because number one, you'll need it, and number two, you'll find that it's a much easier road when you have someone there. And I always say, like, I still need mentors, and I still need a mentor, and where I am, I still need a mentor, but there's people behind me that I can mentor, right? So whoever's in front of you, you reach out to and you say, can you help me? And, can I help you? And then the people that are looking up to you, or the people that are, coming up behind you, saying, hey, come here, let me help you. Let me show you some things, or let me tell you some things that I've learned about along the way. So anybody can be a mentor at any stage in your life and in your career. I really believe that.
I'm almost seeing that it's like there's a piece of like social skills too, where it's like, yeah, I could be the nerdiest person and I could tell you what the tibia connects to or whatever, but that, like, can you have a conversation? Can we set expectations? Can we, enjoy each other's company? All these things are like so important too, right? Where it's like, you could be the smartest guy in the room, but if you don't know how to have a conversation, and that's like what I see in you is, put yourself out there, be friendly. I guess in COVID, you can't really shake a hand, but like, whatever. Just put yourself in situations where you can introduce and see like how everyone can grow from each other.
And shadow, like,
yeah, exactly.
And, just say, hey, James, can I just watch you, train a couple people and just see what you do and just watch what you do. Do that with as many people as you can. And I've been fortunate enough to learn from a lot of unique people with a lot of different skills. So I've gone to the best in group fitness, and then I've gone to the best in strength and conditioning, athletes, right? And the people who teach group fitness will never be good strength and conditioning coaches, and the people who are strength and conditioning coaches probably maybe will can teach a group fitness class. But you get what I'm saying, where these unique experiences have allowed me to have a really nice toolbox of I can have a conversation with someone who takes group classes because I've taught it and I've been there. But I can also talk to the athlete who's looking to get that multi-million-dollar contract because I've shadowed and I've seen people train that way, and I've trained that way myself. So, I feel like just exposing yourself. I think that's another advice I would give too. Expose yourself to as many different things as possible, especially when you're young, so you could see where do you gravitate towards, right? Because maybe you don't think that, or maybe you think that where you want to go, but then all of a sudden you see James Spencer doing chiropractic work and you're like, man, I really like chiropractic work. Maybe I want to go down that road. And I would have never known it if I didn't shadow him, if I didn't see it. Or maybe on the other hand, chiropractor is not for me.
Sure.
Okay, great. Cross that off the list. Now that's one less thing you have to worry about concentrating on. So
I like that. And obviously a couple mentors, Charlie Weingroff, Eric Cressy are big mentors of mine. And I was just working with an athlete over there the other day at Cressy Sports Performance down the street. And this young guy, he said, I appreciate everything here at CSP compared to other facilities that train baseball players. I said, well, tell me why. He said, because I just had a big league guy run up to me and give me a little piece of advice in the middle of our throwing, and he didn't have to do that. So I think, Eric leading by example also shows how the mentorship program evolves through, their training facilities as well. And it's cool to hear that from a young kid who's now inspired by this big league guy to go, he didn't have to do that, but I appreciate the advice, and it may actually help my pitch. And him just looking, to help the youth, it really inspired me to also give back to now the younger kids. So.
And that's how you create a culture. That's how Eric has created his culture, where that just happens organically. No one said like, hey, can you go over to that kid? It'd probably make him feel good, right?
Correct.
He did it in his heart, and it happened in a place where the culture, that's normal, and that happens. And, kudos to Eric and, everything he's done. And if anybody can look at someone and see a road of hard work and perseverance and dedication, you look at someone like Eric Cressy and you see everything that he's been able to do with one facility, now two facilities, and now the New York Yankees. That doesn't happen by luck. Like, the old adage, luck puts you in a position to be at the right place at the right time. And so he's been lucky, but he's been lucky because he's put a lot of hard work in.
Work ethic is important.
So talk to us now about what you're doing in Palm Beach County. Like if I was just a normal person and I wanted to, either be trained by you or be taught how to train people, like what would you say that you would do privately here in the county as well?
Yeah. So right now, obviously we're in unique situations, but I will, I will venture out of my house when I can. First and foremost, I'm a father, and daddy duty always comes first. And so whatever happens after daddy duty, is a bonus. And that's
how much you get paid for that daddy duty.
That's my priority. I get paid in hugs and kisses, man.
That's plenty,
that's
right?
the best. But see, now I'm all thinking about my daughter. I'll still go to people's houses to train them. I'll still take some clients out of facilities and gyms, making sure that, it's not that busy at the times that I train them, and everything is, nice and clean. And I'll still do some virtual type of consultations and training and things like that. So just like everybody, I'm trying to put the pieces together right now. And I'm not doing just like, I know some trainers are mostly doing virtual or mostly doing this. I'm still kind of dabbling in a little bit of this and that, and I'm still doing some virtual education. So sometimes I'm doing like an 1.5 hour webinar. Sometimes I'm doing a 6 to 7 hour webinar. Those usually don't happen more than a 1.5 months or so, or maybe every 2 months, something like that. So I get to touch on the education, which I love to do. And then I still get to have that physical interaction with training clients. And then, I'll still get to feel like I'm living normally, where I can get in a car and go somewhere and still feel safe. So that's how I'm kind of piecing it together right now.
And where can the listeners find you?
My website and all my social media handles is, I try to make it as simple as possible. So just my name, so Giovanni Roselli. If you just put that in, then you'll find everything about me there.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
And we can easily type that in the show notes for you.
Yeah.
So any last people that you want to thank on your way out?
How much time do we have?
90 seconds.
So I'll obviously, one of the people that I want to thank from a fitness side is Michelle Dalcourt. He's the one who created Viper, now Viper Pro. And he's the one who really set me and so many others on the way to kind of functional training and just looking at the human body so differently. And I'm glad that I was exposed to his teachings. And, I've drank his Kool-Aid, and his Kool-Aid tastes really good. And I'm still drinking it. And obviously I just want to thank my wife and all my family and friends who've always supported me. I've had quite an interesting road where I've had a lot of people that have kind of dismissed my dreams and goals. So you never forget about them either.
Oh yeah.
And, it's funny. Someone said, you may not remember everybody that was nice to you, but you always remember everybody that wasn't.
It's true. That's true.
Right. So, to those who have, helped me, and those of you who have, motivated me, and for those of you who have, been on my side, I appreciate that. And, you're one of those guys. So, shout out to this guy, because, thank you for doing what you do and being a leader in the community.
He's all right.
He's all right.
It's a pleasure, bro. It really is.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming on the Palm Beach podcast. And I think we'll have to get you on the green screen here sometime soon. Get you creative in there.
I'll definitely be up here. Like I said, I literally just had an audition for a major TV show last week, and I have a tripod with an iPhone and my wife behind it and my daughter running around and not behind a white wall, and it was nuts. And I was like, I could just come here.
It's easy.
Next time.
You could bring the wife and kid here too.
Yeah. Oh, they would love it. They would love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
Hey,
gentlemen,
boys,
until
cheers.
next time.
See you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Palm Beach Podcast. Our show is brought to you by Pump House Coffee Roasters, Hopportunities in Delray Beach, and the Lotus Travel Company for retreats and tours in Palm Beach County.